They call him the greatest manager in MLB history. That's a bold statement. But it comes from none other than the Elias Sports Bureau, the official historian of Major League Baseball. 5 times this manager was fired by the same team. 5 times he was welcomed back with open arms by the same team. Who was this man? How can a man who always won never last? His name was William James Martin. And this is his story. He grew up poor, really poor. His father abandoned the family and his mother struggled to make ends meet. She worked as a waitress, and when she wasn't working, she spent time at a local bordello. So young Billy grew up mostly alone on the streets of Oakland, California. He learned to fight early, really early. There wasn't a day that went by that he wasn't in some sort of fist fight. It was a constant brawl just to survive. And so by the time he finished high school, he grew up into one of the toughest men who ever played baseball. He was only 5 feet, 11 inches, maybe 120 pounds soaking wet. But don't be fooled by his size. This man could fight anybody. In fact, when he was a senior in high school, he was actually thrown out of the championship game because he got into a massive fist fight. The ref had to stop the game while they broke up the brawl. Later that night, they called him back to finish the game. And guess what he did? He hit a home run in the 9th inning to win the game. That's our guy. Adversity built his grit, but it also built a temper that would never leave him. And we'll get to that. Now let's talk about his playing days. He played 10 seasons for the New York Yankees. He wasn't a statistical superstar, but he was a clutch performer. While Mantle and Berra grabbed all the headlines, Martin delivered the little things that won games. He moved runners over, made the defensive plays, hit the timely hits. Most fans today, if they only look at batting averages, they'll think that he was a below-average player. But that's not true. If you really want to know how good he was, you have to look deeper into the box score. He was a winner. And then when he became a manager, his teams also won. He took the Minnesota Twins from last place to first place in his first year as manager. He found a 27-year-old outfielder named Ron LaFleur, straight out of prison, and made him a star. He turned the Texas Rangers, who were a 105-loss team, into a respectable team that actually contended for the next 5 years. And then he returned to the Yankees, where he won Manager of the Year. Then in 1977, he led the Yankees to the pennant and a World Series title. He was known as the Comeback King. He had an immediate turnaround effect on any team that he managed. That's a rare gift for a manager in MLB history. Only a handful of managers ever had that kind of impact. But Billy Martin had 2 flaws: volatility, alcohol, and chaos. There were fistfights everywhere. With players, with umpires, with bar patrons, even with a marshmallow salesman. One time he got into a massive brawl with several members of the White Sox organization after a game in Chicago. Another time, he was arrested for investigation of assault after throwing a glass of beer on a woman. He was fined $1,000 by the league for various scandals that involved drinking and public outbursts. And there were even accusations of racism. Now, to be fair, there were stories of him defending teammates of color, but there were also stories of him being downright mean. With the A's in Oakland, he forced his pitchers to throw complete games. In 4 years with Oakland, 94 of his pitchers threw complete games. Most of those pitchers saw their careers destroyed. His relationship with George Steinbrenner, the owner of the Yankees, was legendary, a love-hate relationship. Every time he got fired, Steinbrenner received angry letters from fans. Every time he returned to the Yankees, it was like a holiday. At Old Timers Day in 1978, Steinbrenner announced, "Billy Martin is our manager, and he's going to be our manager for the next 25 years. The fans at Yankee Stadium erupted. They loved Billy Martin. The man was a folk hero. Steinbrenner and Martin had an addictive toxicity. They couldn't live without each other, but they couldn't last together. It was a disaster waiting to happen." By 1989, Billy Martin was preparing paperwork for his 6th return to the Yankees. On December, he died in a car crash in California. The irony, the man who always came back, never got his final return. Now look, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a great story, but why should I care? What's the lesson? Here it is. Talent can open doors, but character decides how long you stay. You can be the greatest manager in baseball history, but if you can't control your flaws, you won't last. I'm the author of 9 books, including The Boys in the Boat and The Trainer. And this is our channel.